In this video, we're going to be going over the party sheet as part of the Fantasy Grounds 5th edition rule set. So to open up our party sheet, this is where we do all of our party management. And to open that up, we're going to come up here to our little data buttons up here and select the party sheet. Now I've already gone ahead and already added a number of members to this party. So right now we are going to take a look at the main tab. So here on the party sheet, here in the main tab, we have a listing of all of our players. It gives us some high-level overview information. We expand this a little bit. We can see things like their name, class, level, race, etc. We have an indication of their health, how many hit dice they have remaining. We have their basic stats, armor class, passive perception score, and any special defenses or senses that they might have, such as dark vision. So this is a great overview for the DM to be able to look through and if you need to know, oh, I need a passive perception for who's going to be able to see this or who isn't. You'll be able to have all of that kind of information listed here very quickly. You'll notice that some of these numbers contain little dice symbols. These are very handy shortcuts that you can automatically roll certain things for the players without their knowledge necessarily. So for example, if I wanted Centaurius here to roll a strength check, I can double click on that and it will roll a strength check for me. If I don't want my players to see the result, I can click on this little eyeball symbol and then the results will be hidden from my players. I can also hold down Shift and double click it and it will switch from doing checks to doing saving throws. So if I wanted a Constitution saving throw, I hold down Shift and double click it and it will force a Constitution saving throw. So those are some nice automated rolling capabilities that you have here. The default is for a check, Shift is for a saving throw. Next up, we have the ability here on the main tab to actually do group checks. So these are things that are going to be rolled against every member of the party. So for example, if I want all of my characters, everybody in the party, to go ahead and make a strength check. Say they're trying to collectively raise a difficult gate. And I can put in a DC here and I can roll it. Now you'll notice that it rolled all 4 dice and it tells me who succeeded and who failed on that strength check. So it looks like 3 failed and we have 1 success. I can also do the same thing for skills. So, all right, everybody make a stealth check. And let's keep it hidden from the players so that they can't see. Now I can roll and see who made or failed their stealth checks. And it automatically, of course, incorporates things like armor penalties and whatnot. Saving throws, same thing. Let me clear this out. I can do any kind of saving throw I would like. Everybody make a wisdom saving throw, DC 12. I can roll that against the entire party and see who makes or fails that. Or I can actually make just an attack roll against the entire party. In this case, the bonus, the number here is not the DC, it's the bonus to the attack. So let's say there's a +3 to the attack roll. Let me clear that out. Actually, let me make this a quick button. I can roll an attack roll against the entire party and I can see who got hit and I can see poor Figgin got a critical hit. So he's going to take some damage. So that's the main tab here on the party sheet. It allows you as a DM to get high-level overview information that you might need or to be able to roll against the entire party if necessary. The second tab here is the inventory tab, and this is very useful for giving treasure to our players. So by default, players will be able to see the top 2 fields here. To the right, we have the list of items that are given to the players. This is listed. These are the parcel items that are available to the players. And on the left, we have the list of coins or money that has been given to the players. Now we can very quickly add items to this just by grabbing a parcel. So in this case, I've got a test parcel, dragging and dropping it. So in most adventures, pre-made adventures, you'll just drag and drop the parcels that it generates for you, and that'll be the easy way to give it to the players. Now players do have access to these items, and they will be able to drag and drop the items to their character sheet. So if I am a player and I see I have my inventory tab open, I can grab an abacus, drag and drop it over, and it will take one. There is no restriction. The DM cannot restrict a player's capability of taking one of these items. So that's something that you just be aware of. Players will have the opportunity to just grab and drop it onto their inventory. This is also useful for players who want to share an item to another player, because they can't drag and drop it directly to the other player, but they can drag it back to the party sheet, and you can see it's been added back here, and another player can then drag it to their character sheet. At any time, if you want to sell a particular set of items, you have the sell button here. This will convert the items into coins. Ignore this AD, that was from a previous video. I'll go ahead and delete that. But when you are selling items, first off, you set the percentage of the item's worth that they're going to get. So in Abacus, default value is 2 gold. If the selling percentage is set to 50%, they will only receive 1 gold. If there is any other value, like some of the magic items will contain a range of values rather than a specific value, then they will not be able to be sold. It won't convert anything into coins if there's a range or if that's blank. Additionally, Fantasy Grounds will not adjust coin denomination types. So it's not going to convert gold pieces into silver pieces. If you have something worth 5 gold and you sell it at 50%, it will round down and you will only get 2 gold. So it's just something to be careful of. You will lose a little bit if there's odd numbered values, or depending on the percentages that you have set up. Another way we can prevent items from being sold is by setting an assignment. Now, an assignment, you'll set it by typing in one of the character's name. Let's say we want Fignofetch wants this abacus. We'll make it 1 abacus. Now we can start typing in Fignofetch's name, and it'll autofill the rest, and all I have to do is hit tab. If I have 2 characters with the same first letter, I may have to type 2 or 3 other letters until they're different, and then hit tab. Now once the assignment has been set, I can sell, and it will convert only unassigned items into coins. Now once these items have been sold, everything's cleared but the things that are assigned, I can now distribute all of this to my players. Here on the left-hand side, I have all of the parcel coins that I can distribute out to my players. And I have the items that have assignments that are going to be distributed out. So to distribute all of this to my players, I just click on this Distribute Items and Coins button. And this will attempt to evenly distribute all of the coins amongst all of the players that are in the party sheet. Now notice you can have many more PCs in the character selection window than are on the party sheet, and this only distributes to those that are on the party sheet. So make sure that the character is on the party sheet if you're going to be wanting to give them any kind of parcels or coins or items or anything like that. Now you notice that after I distributed them, there are some values that are left over, and that's because I have 4 characters and I could not evenly distribute these values amongst 4 characters because it's not going to be converting coin. At this point, you can either choose to ignore it and wait until you have more coin to distribute, or you can just manually split it up, do the conversion yourself, and then issue that out to the players. Here on the bottom, this is typically only visible to the DM. On the bottom, we have the party. On the left is the coins, and on the right is the inventory. So the party coins list initially a grand total for the party, how many gold pieces the entire party is currently holding. And then on the right hand side, it shows how that's broken down. So Shara has 36 gold, Fignofetch has 31, and so forth. And it goes through each of the various coin types as to how many the total party holds and how much each individual holds. There is an option that allows players to see this information. It's not on by default, so if you want your players to be able to see each other's inventories, you can turn it on. Otherwise, you leave it off and they will not know what each other is carrying. On the right hand side, similarly, we have items that are carried by all of the players. So you'll see here a list of every single thing carried by every player, and then which characters are carrying them and how many of them. So Traveler's Clothes, it looks like nearly everybody is carrying Traveler's Clothes, one each. However, Arcane Focus, only Shayera, the female elf sorcerer, is holding an Arcane Focus. Now, if the players add or remove items, this may not update immediately. So what you can do is just click this refresh, and it'll rebuild that information with any changes that players have made while you've had this window open. Our next tab here on the top is the Order tab. Now, the Order tab allows us to first off set something like a watch order. So say the characters are going to be sleeping through the night and you want to know what order they will be awake in. And you can just type in a number of when they will be on the watch, and it will automatically sort them for you. So this can be a handy little thing. And to the right here, we have kind of a mini map. You'll notice there's no background to it. There's no artwork or anything like that. But it does function very much like a map, a battle map. It is a 10 by 10 area that can be used to handle battles. Now, if you're going to be adding to a map, the standard rule with Fantasy Grounds is you always add the characters and NPCs to the combat tracker first, and then from the combat tracker to the map. Do not add them from here onto the map. It'll look like it's there, but none of the linkages are set up correctly, and so it will not work appropriately. So instead, always add it to the combat tracker first, and then we can quickly go ahead and add everybody. We'll add them one at a time to the map. So we'll drag and drop each of these characters here onto my map. Now you can see when I add them from the combat tracker, they have that green halo to them that that shows that they're properly set up. If I add them from here, they do not, and all of the functionality, it won't work. So why would we want to use this for a map? There are a number of different reasons why. Perhaps we are don't have a battle map for a particular encounter, or something random comes up and I don't have something prepared. I can go ahead and just use this as a quick and dirty temporary battle map, place everybody on it, and then process the battle. So let's add an NPC here, quick Aarakocra, and I can add him here to my party sheet on the Order tab, and I can go ahead and process the battle. I can target and do all of the other things that I would normally do on a battle map. There are a couple other reasons you might use this. Some people will use this to demonstrate elevation. So for example, if the characters are down here, that indicates that they are at ground floor. The Aarakocra is flying right now, and it is at roughly, 25 feet, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet in height. And so you can give relative elevations using this, just as an example, or you can do things like theater of the mind combat. You can use relative position here to say these creatures are kind of melee range. If everybody takes a step back, this is short ranged weapon range. Maybe another step back is long range for ranged weapons, and another step back maybe completely out of ranged weapon range. And so you can do relative spacing, relative directions for any kind of theater of the mind combat that you might want to be running. So this is a quick and dirty. It has all of the functions of a map except for things like masks. You can't do masks, but you can do pointers. You can do the little drawing tool to draw information on it, and erasure as necessary. And here in 5th edition party sheet, this last tab is used for experience points. Now, experience points are, this tab will not be available to the players. This is only visible to the DM. In 5th edition rule set, experience points are generally given in one of two ways. The first way is done through an encounter record. So if I pull up an encounter record, like my test encounter here, I have a list of NPCs that are in that, I have a CR and an XP value. So I can give this to the players by dragging that encounter record here onto the encounters column. And that will go ahead and list the XP. Now this has not yet been awarded to the players. You can see here this little checkbox that says whether or not it was awarded. Don't get confused because you do not use this to award it. To award players the XP that they've earned, you click on the award button. And that will automatically check this box, and you can see it's divvied out the experience points to each of the players. Quests are the other way of giving out XP, and a quest entry is just very simple. We'll create a simple test quest. Give it a CR, it doesn't matter. The CR is not linked to anything. We'll give it some value for XP. Say it's 450 and a description. Saved the king. And so now I've got my test quest. So to give them the experience points from a quest, same thing. I drag it here onto the quest side, drag and drop it, and I have my quests all set up. I give it to the players by clicking on the award button. Once it's been awarded, I can go ahead and delete them. If this is getting cluttered and I have too many things here, I can go ahead and delete these entries, and it doesn't matter. The XP has already been awarded. Now, by default, Fantasy Grounds will not keep track of when you're ready to gain a level. That's something that the players, and it will not auto-adjust the XP once you do gain a level. There are extensions to help with that sort of thing, but by default, it's the player's responsibility to make sure, hey, I know I've gained a level, I can add the appropriate values to the next level field. And that's the party sheet. Thanks everybody for joining me.